Sorry.
All right. Hello, everyone. I am Jacqueline Buckley, and I am a co-collaborator of Love Jonesing with my friend here, Misha Miller. And so, Love Jonesing came about just on a whim a few months ago. I was talking to Misha and some of my other friends, and I was like, why is dating so hard for me? And they're like, you're exceptional, you're great. And I was like, I know, but I don't date them. So she was like, just put it on Facebook and ask people. And so that's how it really started. We really wanted to bridge the gap in conversation between Black men and Black women about love and relationships. I think that there's something missing in our community about coming together. So I'm gonna let Misha introduce herself.
Hello guys, I'm Misha. I'm a realtor in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and co-facilitator of Love Jonesing with Jackie. And like she said, we came about because we were having conversations with not the right people, just us. And so we thought that we'd add additional folks to the conversation to make it richer.
And we started off doing a Zoom platform where we get together once a month with our friends, men and women. We usually have 3 men, 3 women, sometimes 2 men, 2 women. Last Thursday, when Misha arrived from Dallas, we did our first ever all-male Zoom forum. But we just that's it. So I'm going to introduce our hostess of the day, Miss Tianka. I had the pleasure of meeting her just very recently, and she's such an amazing woman, an entrepreneur, works at Microsoft, a mother, a wife, been married for, been together for 13 years, married for 4, and she's really about giving back to the community, and she's such an amazing woman. So she's going to introduce all of these wonderful people.
Yes. Hello, everyone. So I feel like personally I'm connected to this conversation because of my kind of empowerment for Black women. I feel like I want to provide Black women with the tools to make educated and smart decisions when it comes to love. So like this is the best way. So I'm very excited to get started, and so I'm going to introduce the panel from right. I'm going to start with Latanya. I know her personally. Latanya is a certified personal trainer. She's owner and founder of Spoon-Fed Training and Written. She is an alumni of Washington State University with a BA in sociology and MA in elementary education. Latanya has always shared a passion for motivating, supporting others to live, and share a healthier lifestyle. Latanya is a 2-time American Ninja Warrior competitor, season 7 and 8, and she has received many awards and recognition for her excellent service, skills, and community support. Welcome, Latanya. Thank you. Next we have Reggie Witherspoon. He is the brother of Latanya. Right? He is a God-fearing man with a serious desire to grow in every area of his life. He is the father of 3 amazing children whom he loves to spend time with and who are his reason for striving so hard to walk in his purpose and destiny. Reggie is a full-time barber and owner of Next Generation Speed, Agility, and Training, which gives youth an opportunity to develop a strong desire for working out as well as to increase skills to compete. Welcome, Reggie. Next, I'm not going to mess her name up, but we have Janina Watson-Pan. She's born and raised Seattleite that bleeds purple, go Bulldogs, and Huskies for life. A sociologist by degree, accounting by experience, and skincare socialpreneur by choice. Her wide range of skills help her understand this great forever evolving world. She has a great passion for the betterment of the Black community, locally and globally, and knows that together the village can create a better living for us all. Welcome. Next we have Robbie Delgado. Robbie was born and raised in Seattle and attended Rainier Beach High School and later attended Norfolk State University where he received a BA in interdisciplinary studies. Robbie is a laid-back, chill type of guy who likes to joke and laugh. He is also a proud father of 2 children. Welcome, Robbie. Next we have Chantel Deloney. There we go. She's a registered dietitian working with the Seattle HIV and AIDS community for the last 7 years. She has been exploring the love of Black men from New Mexico, Houston, and now back home in Seattle. She is enjoying her journey of skipping her way but not yet over the hill. She's a proud mother of a son. Welcome. And last but not least, we have Keith Roundtree. He is born and raised in Seattle, Washington. He's the father of 2 boys and he's married. He graduated from Arizona State and attended University of Oregon. Working in tech, Keith can share experience of the Black married life. Awesome. So meet our panelists. So all of these people that are sitting before you are picked for a reason. They're so amazing. And so just some housekeeping for the panelists. Everybody up here has their own story, their personal experience. So of course, I know none of you people, nobody would ever make anybody feel small or feel less than for sharing their experience. So, and of course, we're just going to be courteous to everybody. So that's really it. So we're going to get started. We should go ahead with the first question.
So we're going to start with, I'll ask for the men and the women, and we'll just start with Latanya. So men, what do you love about Black women specifically? Women, what do you love about Black men specifically?
What I love about Black men specifically, and again, it's my own experience, how strong they are. Just being able to, for me, I obviously start with my father, who has shown a lot of dedication to the work, what he put in with his family, how dedicated he is, how strong he is, determined, and so that's what I really love about Black men outside of, they're just amazing.
What I love most about our beautiful Black sisters, honestly, from my personal experience, just from what I see around culturally, is just the partner, someone to push you, make you better. If I'm not elevating who I am, or I'm not allowing myself to get better, I need somebody to kind of help me push me to that regard. I'm not perfect, right? And if I'm not getting better, then I'm pretty much wasting time on this earth, is my personal opinion. So I love that that Black women have that desire. You need somebody to get in the face and say when you're right and you're wrong, and to push you, that accountability partner. So.
See, what I love about Black men, their stature, the way that they hold themselves, even when they're not necessarily quite as confident as they want to be, they're not going to let you know that. And just being able to have that strength from the generations that will and remind us of how great we are, where we come from, and just the support that they have. Because there's nothing like being able to walk into a room and see somebody, because Keith and I actually work together, and we were some of the only Black people that were struggling, and in our department specifically. I was like, hi Keith, you're here. So just being able to have that connection with people makes a big difference, and I appreciate that with Black men so much, in this city especially.
What I personally like about the Black woman is, they're strong and resilient, generally speaking, but like Red said, they're supportive. I mean, obviously depending on case by case, but from my experience, they've been supportive of, things you like to do, whether it be coaching. I know I coach and I do a whole lot of other things, and sometimes time is not, being spent, with the person that you're supposed to be spending it with, be close, but for them to be understanding and supportive about it is one thing I like, and also just the qualities, obviously are beautiful, curvy, but for the most part, they're strong, and they're both great mothers. I know a lot of women that don't necessarily have a father figure in their kid's life or whatever, and whether it's me going to my kids' practices or, like I said, I've coached for a long time. A lot of times I see moms there bringing their kids back and forth to practice. When a lot of times you ask that question, well, where's the dad at? But I see it all the time, so take my hat off to him.
So he stole my answer. What I love
about Black men is their strength and resilience. We have Black men that come from all walks of life, and I truly believe that they put their game face on and they make it through no matter where they're at. Some men are a little more successful at doing that, but I think Black men as a group really overcome whatever that's thrown at them, and they keep making it every day. So that's what I love about
it. Okay. No, so the Black woman, what I love about the Black woman, I would say, is the resiliency. Just kind of to be able to face adversity and always find yourself on the other end with a positive outcome. I love the hair. I love the style, the whole swag. I think the love, I think, is another thing too. I don't think, one of the questions we'll talk about later, but I don't think we always feel supported, but I think that the love is always there. And the willingness to always kind of be like a mother to someone, even if you're not, they're actually, blood related, stuff like that. So the cooking, and all that kind of stuff, to kind of bring in the family, it's kind of the glue. I look as a woman as being like the glue of the household to really keep everyone together. As the man just kind of runs the motor, he kind of gets out of control at times. The woman always kind of brings it back to reality and kind of brings it back to the family. So that's what I really appreciate.
All right, thank you guys. The next question is, how did you learn to fall in love? And you can approach that from different aspects. What were you taught? What did you see? And what are your beliefs? Let's start from this side.
Geez, so learning to fall in love. I don't know if I ever really learned. I mean, so I grew up in a house, single mother. I knew who my dad was, kind of in and out, but I still knew who he was, and so I didn't really have a firm example in my household every day to emulate and say this is how a husband and wife communicate, this is how a marriage works, or how it all kind of goes about. So I'm kind of learning on my own, but I feel that I had friends. Now these friends happened to be Caucasian friends, but I still had a dynamic I could go after and say, what does that dynamic look like? And what does love really look like? What does a marriage and supporting each other look like when things are always kind of be up and down and people change and grow and evolve? And how do you kind of bring each other together and do that as one? I can speak to people that I kind of looked at, and it's kind of silly to some. I was talking to my wife about this earlier, and she goes, it's kind of silly, but to me it kind of means a lot. So I look at Uncle Phil, I look at Uncle Carlton, I look at hanging out with Mr. Cooper, I look at a lot of TV dads, I think Bill Cosby, the Bill Cosby Show. But those are who, as an African American male, I didn't have a lot to look up to other than my grandfather, but to understand kind of what even a house even looked like, right? What is a Black house that's successful, that's not necessarily always struggling, that what does that even look like? So to get a chance to kind of experience that on the outside, and then kind of pick out pieces you learn as you grow. It's a TV show, right? It's fictitious, but there's also some realities you can kind of pull from it. And so I think me personally, not having a lot of successful married men in my life, I had to look at other avenues and figure out how do I tread this course, these waters. Having an African American wife, when you see a lot of African American men in Washington with white women that are married, especially in my job, I see a lot of African American men that are there. Their wives are all Caucasian, and so we can communicate, we can interact, but there's a difference. There's a line that it's just different. So, but I look at, I hate to say it, but TV dads in some situations to kind of emulate how my household we run too.
So, the question is, how did I learn love? Fall in love? I wasn't raised in the traditional family, very matriarchal family. My dad wasn't in the home, but he was always around.
Yeah.
So the home that I was raised in was women.
Yeah.
That's behind me. That's not.
But my family's a very strong and tight family, and there's lots of them. My grandma had 19 kids.
Hey.
And so my uncles, I was raised with my aunts, and so my uncles and my aunts were always there, and they were always very strong in my life, and they loved each other.
maybe in not so healthy ways sometimes, but they loved each other, and that's what I learned. I didn't see so much of the intimate wife-husband kind of love, but I learned love from them, and I have been able to use that as a template for my life, and the pursuit of love and the learning of what love is continues to be a journey, and I continue to shape what I feel is love and what is love to me. But that strong familial love and just human love and brother and sister love showed me what I wanted, and that is what I'm pursuing.
I don't think I learned how to fall in love. I mean, I don't know if you can learn how to fall in love, but I think that's something that happens naturally. But I personally, there was other questions out below.
Yeah, to shape your answer, just what were you taught, what did you see, and what are your beliefs?
Okay, so what I was taught, now I obviously, well, not obviously, but I grew up in a two-parent household till I was about, I think maybe between 8 and 10, and my parents got divorced, and from what I saw in the household, I knew my parents loved each other, but from what I saw as a child, it seemed like they were constantly arguing every day. It seemed like every single day for me as a kid. It might not have been that much, but so I didn't really see if that's what love is displayed, and arguing with your spouse all the time. Then okay, I guess that's what love is. So that's kind of like how I like grew up thinking that's what love is. Not necessarily saying I go out and argue or whatever just to show love, but as far as I don't remember I know my dad loved me, my mom loved me, and my mom is, she's an amazing woman, and she's always showed us, me and my siblings, what love is. And same with my dad, just different ways. My dad's not really an affectionate person, and I don't know if that triggered down to me. I'm not necessarily an affectionate person, but I do know my parents love me, and I don't think that was healthy for us to see as children, because it can, you can grow up thinking that's normal, and that's not necessarily normal. And but as far as falling in love, I don't think you can learn that. That's something that's natural. So me shaping up love in my eyes it's still a work in progress for me. I know what love is, but displaying it, and it comes as a task for me. Like, I might know how to love somebody, but I'm not necessarily I'm gonna hold your hand every time we go out in public, or or give you random kisses. That doesn't mean I don't love you. That's just how I am, and I think it has a lot to do with what I saw in my household. And cause my dad, he remarried, and he's been married for probably 20 years. But I figure, it wasn't with my mom, so to me, it's a fail as far as, but with my own personal mom, you know what I'm saying? So, just different outlooks on it.
Let's see, I would say I was born into love, not necessarily taught love, and I think for a lot of people that haven't experienced being the temperature baby, like my mom and my dad literally were on the, okay, I'm fertile right now, let's go have sex. And I think those kind of things make a big difference into what you're brought into this world, when it's like, oh shoot, I'm pregnant, we gotta figure this out. It's a little bit different of a ball game. So as soon as I came out, both of my parents, and my dad was one of the first men to be in the birth room, made a huge difference in having, skin-to-skin contact, and those things, like you said, physiologically, a lot of things take a toll for us down the line. And my parents got divorced when I was 2.5. So then all the love that I knew totally changed, and my world was dead as a 3-year-old. You know, you're like, what's going on? My dad's not here. But within that same token, my dad put up a fight to make sure that he knew, or that he was going to be in my life, and to know that I was going to have 2 parents, not just necessarily a weekend dad, but you know, I'm going to call you, I'm going to see you, I'm going to be around and be present. So that helped for me to learn the familial love that I didn't necessarily have on the extended sides. And then with the romantic side of it, that was a lot more difficult to see. There's one show that I remember watching and talking about TV dads, this is more TV spouses, was Rock with the garbage man. And I remember his wife was like, you never buy me this, and you don't ever take me here, and you don't do that. And he was like, but I bring you the stuff that I find on my route. She's like, but it's junk. But it ain't junk, it's the stuff that you've been wanting, and I fixed it for you because I have listened to you. And I think that was one of the most poignant phrases that I heard in the 90s about love, is knowing what your partner really wants, because you listen to them. Even if they're having a bad day and just hollering and just need to vent, you let them talk and let them feel heard, and let that communication be what really connects you for the longevity of love, because love comes and goes, and the longer we can stay connected, the better.
For me, falling in love, for me, it's parallel with unconditional love. And what I mean by that, for me, my family dynamic to this day, my sister, my 3 other siblings, or 2 other siblings, excuse me, it's 4 of us total. My parents were married for 36 years. And throughout those 36 years, I've seen exactly what love is. And I'll take it a step further. The unconditional love piece that I'm referring to now is me being able to walk this path of life, fall down, stumble, fail miserably in several areas, but yet who's there to pick you up and say, let's keep going. So for me, that's unconditional love. So it was easy for me to kind of put the 2 and 2 together, because a family is still a relationship, as well as it is from a male and female. It's still a relationship. So in that dynamic, it was easy for me to fall in love, because this is somebody who I know is going to pick me up when I fall 10, 15 times. I'm going to be picked up and let's go. I'm not intentionally doing it, but I need somebody to help teach, train, motivate me, guide me in the right direction. So for me, that was a big piece of, okay, I get it. That's what being in love is, and it's a feeling too. And then lastly is, can I live with this person for the rest of my life? Because I can live with my sister, my mom, my dad, my siblings for the rest of our lives. And it's been that way for my whole entire life, so it's all I know. So because of all I know, I want to continue to live in that circle, and keep this thing going.
For me, how I learned to fall in love, my brother mentioned my parents were married 36 years. It's actually been 37. I have to count that year. So, but we'll discuss that later. But I learned what love looks like, or how to fall in love by both my parents. Growing up, I've been very fortunate, obviously, to have both parents in the household. My dad, the way he treats my mom every day has been amazing. He literally demonstrated how to treat a woman. They go on dates still to this day. Every Monday is their date night. My dad, growing up, would always take my sister and I on dates. Kind of just demonstrating and showing us what a man is supposed to do, how to treat you, just what that looks like. Even if we fail, they pick us up, let us know it's okay, you can keep going. So just little things like that really just demonstrates what love looks like, that traditional love. So I would have to definitely say by far my parents. And until this day, one day God will bless me to get married. But because of what they instilled in me, I know what to look for, what to expect.
Okay, the reason why I wanted to ask this question is because growing up here in Washington, I have a lot of family. I have a huge family. That's my cousin. That's my cousin. That's my cousin. We're a huge family. And unfortunately, I didn't know a lot of Black people that were married for 36 or 37 or whatever year you guys decide. I didn't know a lot of people that were married, for that long. I can images did you see? And like he said, TV, you know, the Cosby Show, that was it. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be a doctor or a lawyer, I'm gonna marry a doctor or a lawyer, and I'm gonna go to college, I'm gonna go to Hillman. You know, it doesn't exist, but that's what I thought. I just really wanted to know how people really, like, you know, how people fell in love. What did you see? You know, did a lot of people see struggle love? Did you see your grandparents? A lot of people want that grandparent love, but they're not willing to go through the sacrifice that your grandparents and your parents went through. Okay. You know, the first sign of trouble, you're ready to go. So I just wanted to know that question, and I'm glad everybody shared that. Thank you.
We'll get into the next question. A lot of folks alluded to Seattle being kind of a challenge in some ways. So, do you feel like living in the Pacific Northwest affected how you view black men and black women in regards to dating and marriage?
I don't. I'm born and raised here, but I lived in LA, I lived in New York, and it's the same thing. So honestly, the older I get, I realize people, and now, because I used to say, I was a victim of saying, you know, it's hard to meet a black man here, date, whatever. But now that's changed because I realized from traveling that literally it's not just the Pacific Northwest. Honestly, I feel like, and I'm tired of actually hearing that, I feel like people kind of use that as an excuse. And for me, I think it's important that we kind of get out more, and that's what I've been kind of telling myself, because I'm so used to just work, go home, you know what I mean? Like, being able to go out and network and actually meet people, I feel like it's just the work that you put in, and I think we hear that so much, people saying, oh, there's no men here, that we just start to believe that, you know what I mean? As opposed to, there are some who are very successful, those people who met their spouse here, but we don't hear too much of that, so I feel like if we hear more of that, or if they speak up, then that'll change, so.
I love this question. I was having this conversation with my clients actually a couple weeks ago, and I'm big on this. How you live, how you walk, how you talk, your character, integrity, that's what you're going to attract. It don't matter where you are in this country. You can be in a small town. What you see, we're all visual, right? Especially men, we're very, very visual here. And so, I'm big on, and I speak to myself when I say this because I learned from this my old self, and that's why it's so important for me. Like she mentioned, Tiana mentioned in my bio, I'm constantly trying to grow. I'm huge on my character, my integrity, and integrity and character are things when people aren't paying attention, they're not watching. You don't think they are. I have this thing that someone's always watching, and if I want to attract a certain individual, doesn't matter where I am in this country or the city, I gotta walk and talk, stick my shoulders and my chest out, walk with confidence, and understand that patience is everything. And some people, and I'm speaking more so to people who are single, who have that same exact issue. They feel like Seattle, no matter where you're at, you can be down the street at Safeway and run into your soulmate right there walking out. You know what I mean? Just offer your presence alone. And so, what you give out, I think, the energy and all those sorts of things will also be reciprocated in what it is that you're looking for.
I agree with both of those statements, but I also know the isolation in Seattle is real, and I think the Pacific Northwest culture is a different mindset than, as we know, people that move here from the East Coast. When I was working with the Urban League Young Professionals, we had a ton of people that would come here that were recruited by Microsoft and Boeing, and we'd have these mixers, and they'd be like, we have to put on business professional so people know what they're talking about, because we're in Seattle and everybody wears grunge clothes. And I'm like, we're grown, we're professional adults. We know how to dress accordingly. But the elements do surround us. You know, we're in a Nordic town. I'm half German. They stick their head in the sand and burn their butt because they don't want to deal with the things that are going around. And I think a lot of that also takes a toll on our social activities. While the magazines say, oh, this is a great place to date because there's so many coffee shops, but when you go into a coffee shop, people are like this, oh my God, somebody talk to me. They said hello. So that kind of like human interaction that's kind of required today really does scare people. And I'm a talker and hi, if I see you twice, you're my friend. Shake your hand once, you're my friend. So, like I said, I was deal with life a little differently. I'm a friendly person. But also being here, we all have known each other for a long time. Like, I don't know them personally, but I've known them their whole life. Like, I know both of them. I think I might know his sister, Tanisha, cousin, see? Birthday party and co-worker. So, as small as Seattle is, that crosses over. So, whether we have that mindset, like, oh, she dated so-and-so when I was in the 8th grade. He's off limits now. Or they were married, and he may have been a great guy, but not for her, and maybe it's for me, but I might still have that, I don't want to go there because of everybody's chatter and talk in our 2 degrees of separation. So it's kind of like the music and basketball industry. Everything's inside, but we go home because it's raining all the time. And then when it's sunny, we put on glasses so we can't see anybody because our eyes are burning from the rays. So that's how my complicated part of this goes, because all of our friends that travel all have the same issue in all parts of the country or world for that matter.
I would agree with my cousins here, and also with you as well. I think it's doesn't have anything to do with, you know, being in the Pacific Northwest from a standpoint of how women think or where, you know, what you're looking for. I think you can go anywhere and a woman's gonna want somebody that's supportive, that's provide, that's whatever it may be. It's not like, oh, well, we from New York, we don't care if men come home at 3 o'clock in the morning and do whatever. We don't care if you don't provide for the family, or if you're dad, if you're a father or a husband, you do whatever you want to do. No, Dallas, Portland, California, anywhere, wherever it may be. I think a woman's general outlook of what they look for in a man is what it is. It doesn't matter if you're from here or not. I can't say in you know, Seattle or whatever, the black community is, Seattle a big city, if you want to call it, but in the black community, it's kind of, everybody knows everybody to some capacity. So that could be a tough thing. Like, I may not know a person, like I might, hey, I'm dating this person, and who you used to talk to? Oh, I used to talk to this person, that person. And like she was saying, like some people, hey, maybe off limits. It was 8th grade. It was 9th, and I, you know, but you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of tough to meet somebody here that nobody knows, or nobody can say, hey, I've been with this person, I know this person. Oh, that can give you, that's going to give you some sort of insight, or maybe a bad name, like, oh, you used to talk to him? Oh, okay, good luck, girl. And you know, like she said as well, I mean, that person may have been, you know, bad for you, and it just might be my husband or my wife or whatever. So I think that's one of the difficult things I've run into being here, growing up here. I know a whole lot of people, and even if I don't know a person like, oh, I know who that is, like, oh, your cousin used to talk to my friend. So that's the tough thing about it here, because people are gonna always judge, like, oh, you're with this person, she used to, you know, or he used to do this, or he used to talk to her, and so you kind of get that. I know me personally, I used to feel like, dang, well, I don't want to be walking out, you know, with this person. I know she used to talk to, I might be in the club and I heard she used to talk to him. Well, I really want to be proudly with my arm around this person, but to each his own. One man's trash is another man's treasure. I'm not calling anybody trash. That's what you were saying. Don't take that in the wrong way. I'm literally saying like what worked for this relationship. Like, hey, this person might have acted this way with me, and what you get with another person, and they're completely different. Like, it could be like, well, this person did the thing that I wanted him to do, that I was looking for in this. In you, and you know, so it all just depends. But I don't think it's, you know, Pacific Northwest was the problem. I don't think any woman or man, they're all pretty much looking for the same thing in a broad standpoint.
Okay, I do think it's the Pacific Northwest. Right? Okay, so I don't think it's the Pacific Northwest in the sense that we have different kind of people here. Like we have black people and different kinds of black people. I feel like if you can reach into somebody's home and find that person that you want, you can find them. But I think it's very difficult. And I think it's just numbers. I think it's just numbers. Like, we don't have a whole bunch of black people that live here. And at a very young age, I knew I wanted a black man. So it wasn't like I had a huge pool to pick from, right? And the ones that I had to pick from, I knew them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know everybody's business. So like, after high school, I'm like, I'm out. Like, I need to get married or something, and that didn't happen. So I'm back.
Welcome to Single Girls World in Seattle.
You know what I'm saying? But it is the Pacific Northwest. You just don't have a big, huge population to choose from. Then, if you know, from the population that you have to choose from, you put your preferences in there, and then there's like one person. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, it's Pacific Northwest. But then, you know, I moved to Las Vegas, New Mexico, which there was like 3 of us black people, and I had my son by a black man. So, you know, it happens. But I also think too, like the Pacific Northwest, because there is so many, so few black women to choose from, so few black people to choose from. I think that this is just me. I think that black men here that choose to be with black women have a little more. They can be a little bit more spoiled, you know, and they can ask for more than what we're willing to do and give, but you know, I'm here.
You're welcome.
And when I came home about 8 years ago, from Houston, where there's lots of them, and you pick of the litter, you come back to Seattle, and I got on social media and tried to put myself out there, and it was like, seriously? This is what we're doing for dudes right now? You know, just what people expected was just a lot, you know, and yeah, I think it's Pacific Northwest, but I don't think that we're any different. You know, if we had more people here in Seattle, it would be a lot easier, but we don't, and so it is what it is.
Oh boy.
He said he found his.
So, gee, it's funny. So I don't know if it's Pacific Northwest or if it, I definitely think it's a population thing for sure. Numbers aren't high. But so my wife today, we're going over some of the questions that will be asked today, and we're going over it. And one of the questions, well, it will come out all my way, but I didn't, looking into a relationship, I go back to like high school. So all the way to like high school, I always had like 1 or 2 girlfriends, so it lasted for pretty much freshman, sophomore year, the junior, senior year, that was a wrap, right? So, and then some in college, but they weren't African American women, right? They were white women or Caucasian. And so I identified some beautiful black women in high school and tried to engage them, and it was more of you were met with more resistance than you were with a welcomeness. And so I think that kind of, and don't get me wrong.
What school you was at?
Well, sure. I mean, they'd be like, there are those corny kids, right? But I'm like, but I'm like, no, You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, right? But the thing about it was, but they weren't attracted to what I provided at that time. They wanted that B2K dude, right? And I could sing, but I couldn't dance. And so the thing about it was, so there were a lot of African American women I think that missed the mark, and so that allowed me to venture off into other areas. And by the grace of God, I came back. I wouldn't say I came back by the grace of God, but let me say this though, because the way it happened, my wife said, today I told her, I said, I wouldn't necessarily thought I would marry a black woman. I didn't go into the criteria saying she's got to be a black woman. I just want someone who's going to love me for who I am, respect me for who I am, and meet me where I am and push me to go further. And it just so happened that I got introduced to a black woman that did that for me. Now, had that not come around, who knows what I'll be with. Right? So I don't necessarily think it's a Pacific Northwest thing or a relocation thing. I think it's really about meeting people where they are at that time in their life. And when I was in high school, and even through college, it was all about materialistic things. Everybody wanted to have the car. Everybody wanted to have the dude who had this and that. And at the end of the day, none of that even matters because they weren't even making that. The parents were doing that. Right? And so, right? And so when I got the opportunity to start living on my own, doing things on my own, I started getting more independence. I started realizing, you know what? I don't necessarily need somebody to come knocking on my door. I'll find out where it's gonna happen. Because now I call the shots. I'm dictating where I want to go, not the shoes, not the hat, not the shirt, not the abs. And it's true though. It's really true. So I really feel like it's been engraved in our minds at a young age as a black male to put on a persona, to be something that you may not be. You gotta be the tough guy. You can't be the soft guy. Right? You gotta be the alpha. You can't take the high road. Sometimes you gotta knock somebody on their ass. Right? And that's not always the way it's perceived. So as you get older, you start realizing, and when you go to the parties in high school, when the fight breaks out, the women leave. So I used to be the peacemaker, like, bro, if you fight, guess what happens? Like, the honeys are out. And I'm not trying to chill over the dudes and play Madden. Right? I'm trying to talk to the ladies. So I started realizing, like, sensitivity, peacefulness, just being who you are, being comfortable in your skin. And as you get older, you get more mature, you start getting your finance straight, you start getting your degree, you start going to college, understanding the world's so big, you almost deter yourself from what you thought was right, which was that black woman, because you remember how they treated you when you were on the ground. And so we talked about support. Do you feel support from the black woman? I do now. But when I was struggling, when I was in high school and when I was trying to pull some bad ones, they wanted no part of who I was. But nowadays, flip that script, it might be a whole different ballgame. So that's it. Yeah. Whatever.
Hey, somebody, I was gonna make one comment. This is something I've been wanting to tell people. I think we have to really, people in Seattle, like it's all the time, there's no men and women, etc. You've got to start taking control of your thoughts. What you speak is going to transition to exactly what you just said. So I get this from my dad. I'm gonna lead on this. Say what you see until you see what you said.
People out here preaching today. But oh my goodness. But for me, growing up here, I knew that I wanted to be with a black man, but I knew at 15 that I was going to have to find him elsewhere. And I came back with 2 kids. No husband. But my travel family that's here, my real family's here, and so my travel family, you guys know, when we leave out of Seattle, you'll be in the airport in Memphis. How you doing? You're in Nashville. How you doing? You're in Atlanta. Hey, Shawty, what's your name here? In Seattle. I thought that I was cute one day in Safeway, and this guy came up, following me, and he was like, hey, excuse me. And I'm like, hey. And he's like, you want to buy my mixtape? Very different dynamic here.
That's that different level of black woman.
No, I've definitely heard what he said is from, people that I know that have, married women that are not black. They say when they were in high school, black women weren't really checking for them. So that's not something that's very but just before we, go ahead.
So on the girl side of Keith's high school experience, I was a fat chick, like bigger than I am now. So I didn't get no love either, but it didn't stop me from wanting to be with black men for the rest of my life. It just made sure that I wanted to find the right black man.
Okay.
So I think that conversation is one that's hard to have too, because, you know, the onus gets put on the black girl. So, well, you didn't want us. You rejected us. Well, trust me, I was called Grinnis in my purple and white. So that is never a good feeling. But now, at 43 almost, those same ones are, just like you said, hollering. And I'm like, no. If you can't even pick up your phone to dial, I don't want to text, I don't want to message with you. I want you to have a laugh out loud moment so we can have that connection. So that's that fine little difference, you know, between getting past what happened in our past, because I'm always going to be mad at the person that kicked me in the face with the kickball. But, you know, now I know how to kick the ball back. Better watch out, you know. So, I mean, that's just one food for thought. I'd like everybody to remember, too, that both of us have both experiences on both sides. And I didn't go after the captain of the football team, but some of my colleagues that was in the key classes with me was trying to go after the cheerleader, the head of the cheerleading squad. So, stay in your lane. Or envision and see the lane that you want to be in and create it. And I think that's part of that difference that I have had the experience of dating and trying to find, well, would this happen back then? Well, we're not back then. So you need to find a therapist, a pastor, a friend, a brother circle to talk about, because there's only certain things that we as women can actually heal with that conversation. We talk about this all the time, like all the time. But how many times do guys really have these kind of conversations about where that hurt came from and where they're going to change it?
Thank you. So we're perfectly on time. That's amazing. I don't even know how that happened. But honestly, so we have a few minutes to get some audience questions, and then we're going to take a brief break for everybody to refuel and rehydrate and do all that fun stuff. So if you have a question you want to ask, you can go to Ms. Tinaka. And does anybody have a question or a statement?
I have a statement, just quick.
Go ahead.
I got people texting me saying they're trying to watch and they can't find it.
It's because of me.
Okay.
We'll take that on the break.
Sorry.
So my question, aside from Keith, is everyone single on the panel?
I'm single.
Single as a dollar bill.
And the other two was quiet. Oh, okay. So does that mean that you have then found your significant other potentially? So it's not as hard of a struggle for those who are in a relationship at this moment?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get you in trouble.
No, I'm not like that. I mean, you know, relationships sometimes can be a work in progress, an ongoing work in progress. But yo, I'm not single. But it's a work in progress, put it that way. So
it's a relationship.
It's a relationship.
Real life takes real work. Relationship.
Absolutely. So, and I think well, I'll leave it at that. It's a work in progress, but I'm trying.
Thank you.
Okay, we have no further questions. We take a brief, very brief.
I actually do have a question.
Go ahead. What's your
question?
question?
So I'm not familiar with let's say, the dating life as an adult, right? So single people. When Keith said a lot of people don't want to meet you where you are, when you become an adult and you feel like you're kind of stuck in your ways, is it less that you're likely to meet someone as they are and help them to become a better person because you have higher standards than you would have, like say at 17, 18? Your standards are a little lower, so you're willing to date and grow with someone versus now you're 35 and I'm not putting up with this type of mess. I'm not going to meet you here. Do you feel like that kind of narrows your dating pool a bit and restricts, love in your eyes?
I don't think so. I think it can, for sure. But I think it depends on where you're at in your journey. For me, again, from a very young age, I wanted a black man, right? And I realized I was in Seattle and there wasn't a whole bunch of them. to go around. And I decided, okay, what am I looking for, and what do I want out of this? Now, if I can find a man that fits all of my checkpoints, and he's black, and he's a billionaire, like, absolutely I'm going for him. And there's no changes in me that needs to be made. But I'm almost 40 and I haven't found him. So, not in Seattle, not yet. And so what I had to say to myself, what am I able, one, to let go of? What's an expectation that isn't just mine? Like, is this something that I'm afraid to be with this person because Jackie might not like him, or
Your cousins might beat him up.
my cousin might, you know, whatever it is. Like, is that something that I'm afraid of, or is that something that somebody other's expectations put on me? And what is it that I'm bringing to the table? Because even though I know all my exes were horrible people and need to grow in their own way, maybe I contributed a little bit to that, you know, maybe just a little bit. And what was it that I contributed, and what can I, you know, I think it was used, you know, maybe my love language isn't like somebody else's. And so maybe that's what I need to work on, or expressing what my love language is, or being more able to describe who I am as a person and what I need. And I think one of my biggest things was expecting for someone else to know what I want instead of communicating what I want and what I need. So I think being older and knowing myself more, I'm able to be like, okay, well, he doesn't have to have a BMW, but you gotta have a car. Or to be all or nothing, like I can open my eyes to other things and see other things as long as my other needs are met. Like if I come home and he's loving on me and, you know, everything's great, but he catches the bus, like, okay, maybe I can look into that. Do we live close to the bus line? Like, do you Uber or something? Like, what's going on? So I think when you get older, you have more resources that you're able to be a little bit more flexible in what you can accept and what you will allow. I think when you're younger, it's just more superficial because that's what you see, right? Like you're saying, like when you were in high school, it's much more materialistic because what did you want when you were in high school? You know, what were you supposed to have? You didn't know nothing. You just seen what other people have and you wanted it. But when you're older, it's like, no, I want somebody that's gonna hang out with me. So if this is what's gonna take for this guy to hang out with me, maybe I can do that. Maybe I can give a little bit. So.
Oh, I do have something. Yes, I
was going to add something to that. So, just like Tianka, I met my ex-husband at 15. We were married until I was 35. And so when I met him, he was over 6 foot tall and he was cute. And that was it. That's all I needed. Entering the dating world at 35, I think I was led to believe that being realistic was settling. And so I think a lot of people are just afraid to lower their standards because it's being couched as settling when it's just really being realistic and being real, knowing what you bring to the table and then looking for that to be mirrored in somebody else.
I'll add that too. But I think so I know you have to single people, I'm going to speak on this too, because I think even in marriage, at a young age, you still evolve, you don't know who you are, you still grow. So there's still kind of keep each other together. And so I think like it's really about communication, right, at the end of the day, because in the Black community, I don't know how well we actually communicate. And I say that because it takes big names and big powerful people in our community that we even self-destruct to finally say, I stand with this person. And then even in those events, there's still fights, there's still violence, there's still anger, there's still frustration, and people are mad. And I think just in general, one thing I've learned a lot in our marriage counseling is that we don't communicate. There's nothing there. You can't go to bed. You can't go to bed angry at each other without having a communication about what's going on. You can't assume things. You really got to actually be able to open your mouth and physically speak, and the person has to be able to physically receive that information and then do something with it. So feedback, right? But I think at the end of the day, we're all changing. We're all evolving. We're not, what I wanted when I was 22, 23 is way different than what I want now, right? But when I married at that age, I can't now say I'm out of this marriage because you're not providing A, B, C, and D what I want right now. It's now my job to help guide and coach you. You help guide and coach me so we can still be on the same page as we journey on. And so that's it. That's all.
I'm very rigid, but I'm like, you gotta have a job, you gotta have a house, a home, someplace to live, and a car. And those three things may seem very minor, but in this day and age, it is like the separation between people. And not saying that if you don't have that, you just don't need to be dating. Like, and I think that's part of the problem where a lot of, I don't know if I'm the elder person on the group now. I think I am. But dating at 42, I do not want to deal with somebody that doesn't know what an IRA is or a 401k. We have to start looking at things at a different level. My dad is 70 years old and has absolutely nothing for retirement. Yet my mom is able to take care of everything for whatever she needs. So those two different things in planning and future preparation are part of the things in dating. I'm looking for a life partner, whether that ends up in marriage or whether that ends up being somebody that we really are committed to, because not all marriages need to be marriages on paper. But we do need to be able to communicate what we have as our end goal, where we see success together, because I don't want to be planning for my retirement at 55 and you're like, I gotta go get a job.
Right.
You know, so I think that is the little thing too that people also take for granted, is that preparation and actually being ready to date. Like, you have to know where you want to go. Don't come over. I'm not your mom. I don't have kids. I don't want to birth kids. I have parents that I have to take care of, and I'm not fixing to take care of a grown man too. And there was a small little meme or story going around on Facebook, and the man had put his cup on the counter, and his wife was like, "This is the biggest thing ever. Put your dishes away." And he's like, "It's just my dish. Like, why is it that big a deal?" And she's like, "Because you're a grown man, and I don't want to have to take care of you. I want you to use your brains, your intuition, and all the things that you know need to be done at the end of the day. So when I come home, I can love on you instead of nagging on you, because the dishes are now all in the sink when I left them empty in the morning." And I think that partnership also makes a difference too, because like you said, these black men up here are unicorns and get everything and anything they want because they got everybody searching for them when they're single. And over 40, and you work at Microsoft, oh, hey, boo. That kind of thing matters. So the little things do matter for foundation now.
So we had a conversation last night about why the excuse of, first thing I'm tired of hearing, why black men don't date black women, because we're argumentative, we are vocal, and they date white women because they're easy. And so I guess I get tired of hearing it, like hearing that excuse. And I guess my question was, is that even true? You know, is that even true? You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not all argumentative. Like,
well, right now I feel like you're yelling at me.
That's your truth. That's your truth, right? That's your truth.
just say you want to date outside. Right. You know what I'm saying? Why do you have to down black women?
I think honestly it's a preference.
Right.
Because I know Caucasian women. I went to Eastern Washington University, and there's not many of us there, right? And I have a lot of Caucasian friends, female and male, that I met there that are very strong women, and men for that matter. So I don't think it's a race thing. I think it's a little bit of environmental to a certain degree, but also it's definitely preference. And two, take it a step further, I think most men want to be the lead, the head. We want to be dominant. We want to the relationship, the family. We want to be able to provide. We want to be able to do everything we can for our family and our relationship. And I think this, and I'm giving two sides to this because I ask the same question all the time. Or when it comes to what I should say. I think some men, for one, who are prideful, egotistical men, look for a woman they can run over. Because now they wear their pride and their ego on their shoulders, so they can't handle a woman, I don't want to say a black woman, they can't handle a woman, to your question, they can't handle a strong black woman telling them about themselves. So I've learned over the years, and that was me at one point, you know what I mean? I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna be transparent. I went through a phase where it was easy, so I wanted to keep it easy. I'm who I am. That don't get me nowhere. If I'm not elevating or growing, I realized, okay, yeah, that kind of gets old after a while. So then I realized the older I got, to put my pride, check my pride at the door, put that ego in my pocket, and go ahead and give me somebody we can walk this way with. I need you to tell me about myself without me getting offensive and argumentative and so on and so forth. Otherwise, I'm not growing. So I think it's really a preference and more so an intellectual thing about who you are as a person, who you want to be, what you want to attract. That's a very good question, and it's frustrating to me personally because some people do look at, oh, white women are easy. That's not necessarily true whatsoever. Because there's a lot of, like I said, I know personally from my past, a lot of black women as well who are just as easy as white, Hispanic, Asian,
That's what I'm saying.
you know what I mean? So it's not necessarily a black or white thing whatsoever. It's just your environment, how you were raised. And some women, I get it, they're very independent. They grew up in a house, there wasn't a dad around, there wasn't a man around, so they got to handle things on their own. They got the tough girl walk on. It's who I am. And if they don't break that cycle and change what that is, then that perception is going to be what it is over time.
And I also think that has to do with whether that's a man or a woman who's given that answer to the question. That's someone that doesn't know many black women or men, if that's the answer you're given. Because we come in all shapes and sizes and temperaments or whatever, like you said. There's white women, black women, Asian women that are easy, and there's other women that are strong. You know, and so that's just a lame excuse. It's just the same excuse or it's the same thing as someone saying to me, you're not, you talk black, you talk white, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a stereotype, and I'm in Seattle, so let's see what I sound like. What I do. You know, and so, I don't have to be angry. I don't have to be quiet. If I'm gonna be angry. If you piss me off, that's what's gonna happen. You know, if you do wrong is coming to you. You know, so I think that's a cop-out. I think that is, that's a weak person, an easy person that's saying that.
What they say?
Well, they were just saying that they don't date black women because, they prefer to date outside of their race because we're argumentative.
I think a lot of those men have a lot of insecurity with themselves because that's ridiculous. They don't necessarily know how to handle someone who's strong, or because they're so insecure, they just kind of back up, you know what I mean, and go for the easy chick. That's, I think,
like, just say that's your preference. Yeah. Like, don't down someone else because that's
an Asian woman or a white woman can be just as argumentative as a black woman. The race has nothing to do with it, so don't justify it by race.
So in my situation, I guess kind of go back. I guess in the end you like what you like, but I still think it comes back to opportunity. Like I just think a lot of black women don't give black men an opportunity. And like you're right, like, I totally understand. There has to be a standard. There has to be a base of like, look, you can't come to the table with nothing. Like you got to come to the table, and even like you said, having a car. Cars get ruined, cars die, so even that is materialistic. So that can always change, but you have to have some kind of self-awareness of who you are, where you want to get to, what your drive. But like I said, I don't go back to high school because it was a long time ago when we were young, but that's my experience, anything outside of black. And I don't necessarily think, like, I just think like it's communication, I think is the biggest thing. Like, it doesn't always have to be an argument. It doesn't always have to be like, you're right, I'm wrong. And I think as I was coming up, as younger, I didn't have, in my house, I had black women in my house, right? So I grew up with a sister and my mom, obviously. And so I saw how black women, how they act, right? And so I didn't necessarily know, like, in a relationship, like, how they acted, right? Because I never got a chance. Until I got older, when a black woman finally said, okay, let's go on a date. I'm like, really? So, but 20 years, man, I'm back and working hard. But at the end of the day, I think it's really communication. I just think like, even the way you said that, I was joking, like, sorry, are you mad at me? I think you're coming at me, but you're just playing, right? But like, even the tone we use, the way that we just, we want everyone to agree with our ideals. And sometimes our ideas are wrong. Like, we're just not right all the time. And so, if we can kind of be able to communicate that and just have a well-rounded. So I'm happy I was able to date out of my race, personally, because it did. It prepared me for who I am now. Had I not dated Caucasian women, if I not dated Asian women, I never would have known what to bring into the relationship. Because Seattle's like a melting pot. So you're not going to find a true black person, right? Like some of you say, yeah.
Wait a minute.
Listen. That's what I'm saying. If you go down to the South, there's a culture. In Seattle, there's not really a true black culture. So I'm not saying a true black culture, not a black person. So, all right. So what I'm saying is, here in Seattle, but even the Central District, it's still a melting pot. But it's still mixed. But I'm saying, there's lots of Asians, lots of Filipino. It's not just black, right? But Ethiopian, so it's not just African American black. And so what I'm saying is, we don't have that here in Seattle. Like we're missing that. So when you go to Houston, when you go to the South, you go to places, there's tons of events, there's festivals, there's things around us. Here, there's no events around us. We go to bumper shoot, and we get one artist. We get one artist maybe one night, and it's not somebody anybody really wants to see. You know what I mean? So it's and the whole city's there. So I just think it comes down to like demographics, where we are, and all that stuff too. So there's a lot of things that factor into it. So there's a Pacific.
Just to add to that, for me, for example, there are some men who may approach me, right? I clearly know you, I know you're talking to this chick, that chick, this chick. I know what you're doing to them, you're a straight up dog. So if me, are you saying, I might give you a little bit of attitude. Or if I just say, no, I'm not interested, and then they don't know how to take that, you know what I mean? They may say something disrespectful, but yes, I'm giving you attitude. So they might come across the women like that, you know what I mean? Who like, you just need to check yourself and get yourself together. You know, otherwise, yeah, you're gonna come across some women who might come off to be angry somewhat, you know what I mean? So I don't know. Some men are trick.
Some women too, I get it. There's a lot of women who have been hurt, scorned, the whole 9 yards. As a woman, you gotta look yourself in the mirror and be transparent with yourself and being first and say, not all men are like X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? Same for men. We get hurt as well, so we gotta kind of take that hat off and be a little more open-minded. But she brought up this thing on the communication piece for sure. I love you, black woman. I just want to say that.
I just want to say, put out there, nothing against that white, but there is no perfect black person.
There's no perfect.
And there is no ideal. We come in all shapes and sizes. Our voices, accents come in all different ways. Some of us is hard, some of us ain't me. I've been living in Seattle all my life, so, you know, don't act like I ain't black because I've been here. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all deserve to be respected as black people and loved as black people, regardless of whether our hair is straight, curly, coily, wigged, anyway. You know, and we deserve to be comfortable in our skin, and people expect, you know, for people to respect us that way too.
So I will say that I agree with Keith that it is absolutely your demographic, and a lot of your history aligns kind of with mine. I went to a predominantly white high school. I had one white boyfriend in my life. Next to my husband, he was probably one of the best boyfriends that I've had. My husband is the best, period. Number one. But because I was able to experience all of that and open my mind to all of that, I already knew what I wanted long term. I will say, I went to school in the South. I've been in Seattle since I was 2, so I claim Seattle. I went to school in Savannah, Georgia. I walked down there, and the first thing out of their mouth was like, there's black people in Seattle? There's black people in Seattle? Like, yes, there's black people in Seattle. But 3 seconds from me getting on that campus, it was like swarming. I was like, wait a minute. I had a man though, so I couldn't really pay that much attention, but it's a different culture, a different dynamic. And then when I graduated and I came back, and I couldn't find somebody who I wanted to be in a relationship with until at Tanya's point. I was one of those people. I came back, I graduated, I worked, I went to, that was one and one. You might see me in the club every now and then, but I wasn't in the streets like that, so I didn't really network and get out to see people. So I called it, and I found my husband online. There we go. There's that.
Yeah, I have to piggyback that. And still being young, I'm only 28, and I just moved back from Georgia a year ago. And the culture is very different. So when you say culture, it does play a big part. You know, just even, like you said, walking, I mean, you assuming that maybe he's going to come give you a compliment here, or even say, hey, you know, how are you doing? And you go far less. Down here, you know, you greet your, hey, how you doing? Hey, you don't have to necessarily try to grab that.
People are friendly.
Yeah,
nice and friendly are two different things.
So now that I'm back home, when I speak to people, even like in my elevator, there a guy walked on, he was black, and I said, hey, he said nothing back, and I told Keisha, I said, that was weird, because when I lived in the South, that was normal, was to say hello, or if you wanted to, you know, take someone on a date, you went on an actual date, like you said, no texting. Call me up on the phone. I had a guy who was consistent. I brushed him off. Like, I'm like, you are being weird. Like, I thought he was weird being from here. I'm like, dang, like, he's sending me flowers, trying to find my job. Like, why is he so consistent? We were together for 4 years. You know, it didn't work, but it to me, it does play a big difference coming back home, being a single woman. And I'm like, I feel like I bring a lot to the table. Why do you know, men tell me when I see you, you don't come off approachable. What do you guys think that means? Like, what does that mean? You don't come up with it?
I think a lot of times. Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
I get that too.
I think I honestly don't know. I don't understand what you look like, how you're looking when you're. I've always been. I've never. It sounds weird. I don't have a confidence level to where I've always been the guy that goes to a party. It's high school, college, whatever. I might be the guy that's at the party. I might be dancing stuff, but I might think, oh, she look good over there. And that's in my head. I'm not gonna go approach them because me personally, I don't getting shot down or like, oh, my boy's gonna be laughing at me or whatever. And I to this day, I'm not the guy that's gonna go, I'm out, and I'm just gonna go talk to you and say, you know, put myself out there like that. Now, if we're vibing, if I get a vibe where she might be feeling me, but if it's not that, if it's something like I feel like it's a one-way street, you could very well be thinking, oh, he's handsome himself. If he comes talk to me, I'm gonna give him some play. But I have to get that from you first. But I'm a nice guy. I say hello to people. Like, I went to school in Virginia, and at Norfolk State in Virginia, and like you were saying, it was a culture shock for me. Not to say I hanging around nothing but, you know, black people around here. Not to say I don't, you know, associate with white people or anything like that. But when I went there, it was nothing. I didn't hardly see no Asians, hardly any Caucasians, Samoans, anything. It was black. Everything was black. Grocery store black, clerk black, person at the drive-thru black. Everybody. You know what I'm saying? So everything. Yeah. Everybody on campus was black. You know, so it was you know, and it's even with that, I don't know what it looks like to be not approachable. Some people just may think it's just like she looked like she might have attitude. I don't know. Yeah. And that's bad, but me personally, I've always been, they come to me, like, that's not to sound cocky or anything. No, that's not to sound cocky or anything. I'm saying that in the sense of, basically, if they don't come to me, then I guess I'll just say I'm admired from a distance. So if it probably could sound like, hey, like, man, where's your confidence at? Like, where's your self-esteem? But it's not nothing like that. That's just how I am. I don't want to be rejected or turned down, and then it's like, dang. Now I'm definitely not going to talk to anybody else if I feel like I'm
done for the night.
Alex, all the time here, I don't know what it is. Like, people are like, and I think I'm very, very nice, very personable. Women always speak here. Women are like, oh, I like your hair. I like your earrings. Oh, those are so cute shoes. Men will be like, that this is what I've been hearing a lot is people are like, well, you know, I've seen you and you take care of your kids. Like, we've heard about you, you have a house, you have a job. Well, I don't think you have a job right now. But, you know, like, and people find, and I've heard that people find that intimidating. I thought that all of us were adulting. Especially in our 30s and 40s, I thought we were all adulting. Like, I didn't understand that that's intimidating to people. Like, why? Like, so I really don't understand it. But I hear all the time that I'm mean, you're not going to get over on me. I hear that, you know, I act like this and I act like that. But I don't hear it from women. I hear it from men. Yeah, all the time.
Same thing for me. I've heard plenty of times, I guess enough, people say that I look too serious, I look like I'm mean. Which, granted, I know me, and many times, yes, I do. So for me, being that I want to meet somebody, I tell myself, okay, you need to make sure you make some changes, smile a little more, you know. But for me, I have so much going on in my head, like I'm here, but I'm not here. You know what I mean? So I look like I'm mean or being serious. And on the flip side, some of these men need to man up. You know what I mean? Like, that should not be no excuse. If you think someone's attractive and like, oh, she seems like she's cool, but she looks too mean, like she's probably like crazy, argumentative. No, get your life man up and go talk to him. No shade, Cuddy, I'm just saying. That's all I think.
It was funny because he was talking about being the leader, and you're like, I'm not gonna holler, you come holler at me. So it's like, where do you balance that? And it is always profound to me that women always have to be the approachable one. Always have to smile. I mean, you guys have listened to the struggles of your sisters, your mamas, your aunties, and your grandmas. This ain't new for the girls that are in the pool for you dating too. We go through the exact same things, and now we're going through a little bit more because we are so dispersed. We don't have that community connection that is in a small area where we can go to the grocery store and be like, oh, hey girl, you gonna get these greens today? Okay, I'm gonna get the chicken. We're gonna have a community dinner or whatever, you know? So not being able to be approached by somebody that just wants to say, I mean, saying hi, like, it's all it takes. You just, you know, one of my friends was blind as a bat. Everybody thought she was big. She could be, but she's nice. She's like, I just can't see it. It's fine. I'm like, you take these glasses off. I'm like, I'm looking right past you. So, you know, that's part of the thing too. Granted, women want to be approached because I wear the pants all day long. I want to wear pants all home. And that is the hard part with the balance. Yeah, my stuff is together. It ain't all the way together. I got a whole lot of stuff that needs to work on too. But that doesn't mean that I'm not willing to work together as a partner. You know, and when you reject people nicely, that gets even worse. Right. Hi, you've been trying to holler at me since 1996. This is a real life story. No, thank you. You actually talked to a couple of my girlfriends and were with one of them for about 10 years while you hollered at me in 1996. Oh, well, that was so long ago. She married. Now I know, and you're still not. Right. And then the next friend that he like, ew. So talk about a soap opera. It's like Love and Hip Hop kind of stuff. And I'm like, no, okay, I'm sitting here with my mama. Like, you're pressing me right now. I'm just waiting for my cheesesteak. Can you go? Thanks, sis. Good to see you around the streets. Because I don't know what it's gonna be. These dudes is crazy. How many girls get shot? Yeah, right. Because they said no. I don't want to give my number. Right. I have a boyfriend. I got a husband. So now my safety is involved because you're not getting your way. Yeah. I've been called old. I've been called set in my ways, aggressive, mean, because I don't want to have sex with you. Yeah. Yeah. You can't even pick up the phone and call me. Yeah. So this is where the girl side gets a little frustrating with the guys being like, well, I don't want to come talk to you. You might reject me.
Confidence.
It's okay. Like, rejection just means that you're going to be successful the next time you try. What did he say? If I didn't keep failing, then I would have never been a success later on.
Can I say the last thing? I think a man, because you just said a man who knows who he is and walks with the walk and talking, it's okay to reject it. My sister, have a good rest of your day.
Right. And for me, that just might turn me on. Right. Just like, you know, he took that yeah, he owned it and he moved on. Like, I want to hear about you in the corner peeking from afar and this, like, bye, you're corny.
That then tells you a whole lot about his character outside of workplace and adversity. You got a little adversity, brother, it's all good, keep moving. You know what I mean? Take control of your mind, let's go forward. So
I think it's this day and age, I think it's tough on both sides, but for the men, I can say social media kind of hurts a little bit. It makes it tough, right? Because everybody's trying to make themselves look like the best thing. So every time I go on there, I scroll, I see breasts, ass, face. I'm serious. No, real talk though. You look at all the pictures, all the photos. They're sexually driven. They're sexually motivated. So we're living in an age now where everything is so sexually driven, so sexually motivated that it's hard to depict what do you really want. You say you want a husband, and you say you want a marriage, you say you want kids and all this stuff, but you're putting yourself out there like you're looking for something else. So how not me in this situation, but if I was a single man and I'm looking at these pictures, I'm saying, okay, well, that might just be like I hit up on a Friday night. Where's she going? You know what I'm saying? Oh, she might be, okay, she might be ready. Let me hit this up real quick, right? Let me sign her message. So those are the things that are going through a lot of single guys' heads that are like, how do you tell who's real from fake? Like,
you get in good life. Right.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but the platforms have changed. The dating platforms have changed where I don't necessarily have to meet you on the street. I can meet you anywhere now. Correct. But regardless, I'm doing my due diligence. I'm doing my research. I'm gonna go find out what kind of stuff you post on your page. Is your ass out in every picture? Are your titties out in every picture? Are you serious? I mean, that's serious. That's real stuff. Like if you want value, like you said earlier, you portray what you're gonna attract. So if I want to attract a beautiful woman, I'm going to act like I'm a good, decent guy. And you're not going to see pictures of me acting crazy or videos of me acting an ass. You're going to see a classy individual because I want to lure and attract a classy individual. So I think you're dead on when you say it's all voice. What you say out comes back. How you act comes back. So when you have Tinder, you have all these different sites now that it's all about physical appearance. It's all about attracting by someone with that look. Like, is this picture gonna do it? No, let me take it again. Is this it? No, that's not it. Here it is. No, that's not it. So you take like 30, 40 pictures to get one look. It's just a mess. It's a mess. But it's a society-driven thing at the end of the day.
501 pictures.
If you're not getting those pictures, add me as a friend and I'll add you friends and we can...
Mario, I know you've been waiting for a long time. What do you want to say?
Good listening to everybody. It's quite educational. I've been married to my wife for 15 years now. One daughter. And she's white. I used to be homeless. Sleeping back in people's cars. She changed my life. She's white. Now, I hear everybody saying black men are intimidated by coming up and talking to you. Tell you this, first day I met my wife, I walked up to her to introduce myself. A black girl looked me up and down and said, a black man. Not like, hey, baby, what's up, mom? None of that. We're doing, man. Give her a rose and a smart. All that. Perfect smile and all that. The girl looked over at me and said, bro, like, I'm not even here to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? So, I understand what you're saying. Black men carry that. They carry that. You know what I mean? Especially men, like my man said, that isn't, don't have that. For me, I'm you know what I mean? Women don't intimidate me. You're wonderful. I love you. You know what I'm saying? Black, silver, white, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? If you can put a man in a place that he knows he can't get himself, he's gonna love you. No choice. It don't matter if a famous woman walked in here right now, had all the money in the world, and she was on me. Never leave my life. Because she took me from a place that I've never been. I think everybody's looking at it from a different point of view. Everybody keeps coming back and forth. Material, you can't learn to love. Not learning to love is ridiculous. You can learn to love someone. You know what I mean? I fell in love. I used to tell my wife every day when I wake up, I fell in love with you again. Just something small she did.
I definitely appreciate your love.
Yeah, but okay, well, I understand, you say all these things about the black men here, black men do this, ask you for your mixtapes and do this and all that lovely stuff. My mixtapes don't matter. You got black men are like that is because it's, you know, listen, we try to get a strong alpha black woman. That's intimidating. That's intimidating. I mean, with the stilettos on, walking in with the black card, pay for your lunch, your bill, like, it's intimidating. I'm just saying, you know, it's intimidating to some black dudes because I know some black men that are older than me that still walk around with their pants off their ass. No future, no, and I don't communicate with them. Thank you, sir. It was a little loud. It was a little loud. But yeah, you know, I just hear everything about, you know, it's all expectation. Even you gotta have 401k and this and that and this. Yo, I'm just saying, yo, they know what that is, but it's still all expectation. What if this man's coming to you with, hey, I love you, especially today when women are like, I can do what you do. I can do what you do. I can do what you do. So let me love you and you run the world. Let me do that. What's wrong with that? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, men get up and do something. I was like that, I ain't gonna lie. I used to be one of them dudes who sit on the couch, wait my da-da-da-da-da. But then I got some sense to me because I'm a black man and I represent something. It doesn't, regardless if I'm with a white woman, I'm a black man and I can walk into a room and change the atmosphere. And tell us as black men, learn that, then we're going to continue searching. I'm done.
See, and that's, just really quick, sorry. That's what Misha and I wanted to do. We were noticing that, especially on social media, people were just like, there's all these memes, there's all these groups, and black women and black men specifically, we just could not communicate. Like, it's really like, you know, you're taking, like, she's talking about 401ks and IRAs and things like that, and then men are talking about, well, I don't want to approach her because she has this or she has that, and we just were not communicating at all. Like, we all want the same thing. Like, if you listen to everyone on the panel, everybody said what they want, and it's similar, but we're so far divided, and that's what Misha and I were like, let's bridge the gap, let's have this conversation. You know, like Keisha said, you can counter a lot of black men who say that women are like this and this. Well, Reggie said something different than that. Robbie said something different than that. Keith said something different than that. They all have their personal experiences. So why can't we meet in the middle? Right. If we all want the same thing, why are we so far apart? Why are we so disconnected? And it's not about loving whoever you love. It's just like, why can't we as the black community come together and really be united and hear one another? Not just, listen to respond, but listen to actually understand.
Yeah. It's okay to agree or disagree. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
It's the same thing, it's just back and forth.
The one thing I wanted to ask is, what if love isn't enough?
But at the end of the day, like you just said,
but the love doesn't pay the mortgage. The love doesn't pay the health insurance.
When you just said, I want to come home and have you love on me. At the end of the day, that's
because I want to have a home that we can actually come back to, because the love doesn't pay the bill like the mortgage.
We're talking about the end of the day. Because if your man is sitting at home dirty up dishes, then that's your fault as long as it's with him.
I ain't got that.
I'm just
so trust that's not going to be a problem.
That's not in my,
you got your wife.
Okay, so again, I'm going to ask how much I appreciate your love. And I wanted to put out there that I would assume that this discussion about black love is about what we want and what we prefer. If you prefer something else or you end up with something else, love is love and it's beautiful. Right. So if you find it, hold on to it, and it's a beautiful thing, and nobody with some real sense, is gonna judge you on that. Like, you are with somebody of another race, that's your love, and that's what's beautiful. Just as if I fell in love with white, it would be great. It'd be great. But it is what it is, and love is beautiful however it happens.
I think that was the biggest thing we're saying. If that's what you like, that's what you like. But don't down the black woman.
Right, and we deserve to be loved, and it's okay to love us.
Yeah.
And like in the home, we are expected to be strong. We're expected to be independent.
And feminine.
And what do they say? You gotta do twice as hard. Like that's what we're being told every single day. But you don't expect me to be that in love. It's gonna be that in love. So I mean, if you can't handle it, you can't. I'm sorry, then it's the next man for me. And that's
What I notice with uplifting black women every day is that black women can understand and see the plight or struggles in black men. But our black men don't understand and see the struggles that we face. Right. I think they expect us to be perfect or not have the same struggles they do. So when we have attitudes or when we are single mothers and pick the wrong guy, they blame us instead of saying, okay, our black women have issues. Our black women are raped and molested higher than any other group. Our black women are, they don't help us like we help them. When we're out here protesting, black on the police brutality. When we're out here protesting and doing this, you don't see them give us the same energy. They don't recognize that we have a fight, we have struggles as well. And so I think that we need to change that. We need our black men to fight for us as we fight for them.
Double standard. Where's the understanding between when people are happily married but single? You know what I'm saying?
I don't have so much of a question.
I don't have so much of a question. I have a statement. I'm from the South, and we talk about black love and relationships. But the first relationship in my mind is you can't find love if you don't brother or you my sister. So when a black man is walking through the neighborhood and he's looking for a black queen to be his bride, is she in love with herself? Or is she caught up with what society got going on? It's not the 90s, it's not the 80s. We got social media now, so now you find somebody that you don't know at all online, and you find love. I'm not saying it's not possible, you know what I'm saying? But love is a personal thing. I can meet you tomorrow, and we have some conversations, we fall in love. But love is within self, it's not without self. Because if you got a man and you got a woman, and you say you love them, you got to love that person if they got a penny or if they got $1 million. Because if you love that penny, guess what? You don't love them, you love that penny. If you love that million, you don't love them, you love that million. But if they don't got a dime, you still love them. That's what finding love is. Learning self, black love is needed because we hate each other in society, period. Not just in relationships. A relationship is not just me and you dating, me and you working together, me and you associate with each other. You see me walking on the street, I walk in this room, I don't know, just using this as an example. I'm not looking intimidating somebody else. And you won't say nothing to me because I look intimidating. But what happened to saying hello? Just to say hello. Not because you fine. Hey girl, how you doing? Because I like how you look. Because if I like how you look, if you to get burned up in a car wreck or something, or end up in a crash and you can't move your fat body no more, or your fat ass or your titties ain't shaking no more, then I don't want you no more because the titties gone, excuse my French, the body's gone. But if I love you, then I love you no matter how you looking. But again, we all in here, except for a young girl over here. I don't mean to call you young, but most of us in here probably over 30, 40. But we carry baggage with us. Take that in mind. Your 13-year-old, when you was 13 or 14, you were doing your thing, you carry that with you. All your hurt, all your pain, you carry that with you. So when you're looking for somebody to love you, you want them to love all that bullshit you've been through too. But guess what? They don't know the bullshit unless you tell them about the bullshit. Excuse my French, but that's what a relationship is.
Danita, did you want to say something?
Kind of like a combination of things. As a single mother raising a young teen,
Yep.
I really don't. The thing that resonated with me true was corny teeth. My son is corny teeth right now, and even if he goes to speak to a young black girl, whatever, he always talks about. They will talk to me, Mom. They think I'm this because I'm not that far for you, or I'm not funny, or whatever. And as a mother, it breaks my heart because he's an awesome young black kid. And and I just not to this sounds horrible, not to say that whoever he chooses to marry outside of this black race, if it's a white girl, whatever, that's his choice. But I would love for him to bring home a black queen, because I know we as women are amazing. But the opportunity is not there. So I was listening to you talk, and I was like, man, that's my baby right there. And it's so hard, because, you know, some of the women are like, nah, that's not even the case. It is the case. Because when we were in high school, we wanted that stuff. You know, I'm going to date myself. I wanted ECE and NWA. I wanted them good dudes that was going to protect me. They wasn't right for me. That wasn't the right man for me. And at 42, I know that now. But he doesn't realize, you know, that it's going to get better. And how, you know, how do you get
great.
That young, it can get great. You know what I'm saying? And how do I express that to my young king that it will? I spoke to another gentleman on my job some years back. This girl was very sister, and so she pulled him into the room and did the lack of a better neck roll, and you dated this white chick and blah blah blah, and started talking down to him. And I'm like, that's who he loves, that's who he loves. But we wanted to know why. It was the same thing. Even in high school, I was a 300-pound dude, though I was hella cool. Nobody wanted to holler at me because I was that 300-pound dude. No one wanted to give me that opportunity. You know, we always talk about, like, let's look at the fact that what is here isn't what's in here. Mm-hmm. And we have to teach each other and teach our children and stuff that look in here. Like, let's get past this. Because, like you said, you get burned up in the fire, ain't nothing jiggling, ain't nothing swinging, ain't nothing flag, ain't the same. You're more self-conscious. And I think someone that said it in the beginning, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place, but I'm just throwing out different things that I heard. You said, sir, was talking about, I like your vulnerability as far as saying, like, I don't want to get shot down. I don't know if anybody in this room that is okay with the word no, get shot down. You can say you are, but I'm not. I don't like being told no. I get my feelings a little bit, you know what I'm saying? I think that's amazing that you're like having that strength to be like, okay, well, I'm gonna move on to the next. But how do you teach someone to learn to move on to the next? How do you empower them? And I think you kind of talked back, I think it might have been Misha, maybe Jackie, someone who talked about women, maybe it was Mila, women having the support, right? Women, we talk all day. Girl, this happened, how can we do better? But men, where's your guys' powwow? Right. Where's your true conversation, vulnerable conversation, like these gentlemen are having right now? Like, where are you guys having this? So these young men are empowering themselves and feeling empowered. Because I know I don't have it for my son. My son's in a household of women. Oh, baby. He's in a household of strong women. And he doesn't have the black community, black men to say, it's going to be greater later. You know, it's going to look different. You know, and at what point, if we're going to talk about love and so forth and so on, how do we expand it? What does that look like? How do we teach them to be better people? How do we teach them how to love differently? How to go in instead of external? That's my ramble. Sorry.
It's a good ramble.
Yeah, that was really good. In the interest of time, I know I appreciate every single person that has been here. I appreciate all of you. And like I said, I chose every single one of you because I feel like there's something so powerful and so amazing in what you have to offer, and I wanted to share that with the world. We're going to post this. We're going to do a watch party today. But I know that some people have some questions. If you want to stay and talk about it later, you're welcome to do that. I don't mind. I don't know if anybody in the panel has to go home. It's 3 o'clock, and we had put this from 1 to 3. So is everybody able to stay? I know you have somewhere to go at 4. And you have, okay. All right, so we're going to wrap this up, and I'm going to say thank you. But if you want to stay, we can go to the table and talk a little bit and continue the conversation. But I want to say thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
I just appreciate everybody's candid nature and agreeing to disagree with some things. We all have different experiences, and I feel like everybody has stood in their own truth, and I just respect and appreciate that. Thank you.
And I appreciate Misha coming all the way from Dallas.